You're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
4 seconds left. In front. Happy moment. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won the first Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. Lightning strikes twice. The Tampa Bay Lightning win their second straight Stanley Cup.
Welcome in to RBLR Lightning here at RBLR Sports. My name is Yurika, and I will be taking the ice for this week's very short episode of RBLR Lightning. We've had some we've got holiday camping trips and nights out with the family, so of course it is I that is here to pick up for you guys. So sharpen up the skates, nice fresh sheet of ice, and we are going to talk about the week that was and what a crazy week it has been so far. Every week is very, very, very entertaining in the NHL, but we have some ups and some downs. On the ice, the Lightning had a wonderful week. They're back in first place. We saw a couple of guys skating again in practice, and we had some records. So before we get into all that, just want to say, if you are listening to us on whatever platform you are, whether it's Google Pod or Apple Pod, if there's a little follow button, there's a little subscribe button, hit that for us. It helps us out immensely as we try to grow this show for you. So without any further ado, let's get back into that. Bolts, they're back in first place, guys. We are tied with Toronto with 42 points after 29 games, and both Toronto and the Lightning are 7-2-1 in their last 10, so this is a race. And of course, Florida's nipping right behind us, so there are so many things that could happen between now and then. So it's just good to see that we're on pace to be at the top of our division. Also, what would really, really help is getting a guy like Braden Point back on the ice. And, Cooper was asked, hey, is he going to be in time for Christmas? And Coop was saying it'd be a Christmas miracle. But, I want him back soon, but not too soon, right? I would like Point, of course, to be back. It would help out so much in our offensive and power play opportunities. But let's not bring him back too soon. But the big news of the week, on the ice anyway, is that Steven Stamkos, the Hammer, has eclipsed the 900th point of his career. Let's go. This is the second most in franchise history behind Martin St. Louis. He is the second ever Lightning Bolt to do it as a member of this franchise. So if you look at his 452 goals, his 448 assists, adding up to 900 points, he's only 53 points away from tying Martin St. Louis, who is a legend. I mean, a guy who we all love and was our number one scoring threat back in the first Cup days. So Stammer already holds the record for most goals as a Lightning. So let's just hope that he keeps that trend going. He is as I look through the notes here, he is the 118th ever NHL player to accomplish 900 points. And if you look at it, he is only 13 active players have more points than Stammer. So we are definitely looking at a pretty good. He's so close that who knows how much more he's going to do in this season, but it's not like he's going to fall off a cliff anytime soon. He looks the best that he's looked in a very long time, and I'm really when thinking about Stamkos, I mean he's one of the reasons why we've been doing so well lately, considering we've lost so many integral pieces to this Lightning team. But Stammer's been the constant. He's held up the, whether it's duct tape and super glue and silly string or whatever, but it's holding together because of 91. So congratulations to him. There was a wonderful tribute video at the arena, but Stammer, as good as that is, he's focused already on getting to 1,000. Stamkos was quoted as saying, it's special. And anytime you can do this at home in a win in front of your fans, friends, and family, if I can speak, it's just that more special. 100 more, and it'll be a really nice one. But you have to get this to get to there. So Stammer saying the right things, of course he would. I know I'm just excited to have him eclipse that 900 point mark, and it's only a matter of time before he passes Martin St. Louis and passes the 1,000 mark, and to become the first Bolt to ever do that. Stammer's done this every single game of his career. He's done that since being a number 1 pick for the Lightning so many years ago, and he's surefire Hall of Famer, obviously in my eyes. But I think even if you were a Boston Bruin fan, you'd have to admit that Stamkos is a Hall of Famer with the cups, with now the personal little accolades kind of ticking over those boxes. So, but he wasn't the only Lightning to set a record. Andrei Vasilevsky, maybe you've heard of him. Vasi has also set an NHL record after the Senators win. He had the most wins in a calendar year. So far, Vasilevsky snagged his 63rd win in 2021, breaking the record of 62 established by Marc-Andre Fleury back in 2009. And so it's a lot of hockey that's been played. I know that between Jake and Chris and I, we've all pondered, how much is too much, and so far it hasn't been. He is literally the record owner for most wins in a calendar year. So how did he get there? Well, we had a couple games since last we've talked. The first game was a 3-2 overtime victory against the LA Kings, and I thought that this was a pretty good game here from both sides. Very fast-paced, a very solid game. These are not the Kings of old. These are young, quick, agile players that had the Bolts tied going into the third, and the Bolts didn't let down. It went all the way through regulation, but Matthew Joseph scores late in overtime to seal the deal. And so it was great to see. It was 1-1 after the first. It was 2-2 after the second. We had a stalemate in the third, and ultimately we get the win. If you're the Kings, though, I think you have to be happy to come into Tampa and get a point. However you get them, this was a tough task for the Kings, but I thought that Quick for the Kings was very good in goal. But Vasilevsky was even better, 28 saves on 30 shots. On the offensive side, we saw Hedman and Radish light the lamp. And so the question that I would have, if I had Jake, if I had Chris here, the question I would ask him is, why so many overtime games this year? We've seen now 11 overtimes in the last 28 games. And you got to think that it's ringing some alarms for me. I mean, I don't know if it's just that other teams are playing us very hard. I don't know if it's the other injuries and the kind of the very, I don't want to say limited roster that we have, but really some veterans are holding together that fine wine line. You have some young guns on the new triplets 2.0 line, or the kid line, or whatever you want to call it. And so a little bit of ragtag youth, a little bit of veteran guile, and of course Stammer, like we've talked about, and Hedman too, just on each of their respective lines, really holding down the fort offensively. But the third period kind of collapses. If we take it on the other side, we've seen this team unfortunately so many times in the last couple months where they've had the lead going into the third and they let a team get back into it. So maybe there's alarms being rung. Right now, all is well. We're sitting atop the division. So maybe this is maybe I got to stick this in the back burner and say, If things start to get ugly, this is where we need to kind of look. And another place that I would like to talk about too is the power play again. 0-3 on the power play. We saw some good power play action last week out of the Lightning. So all in all, it's been mostly down, but I was hoping that things would keep going in the right direction. But again, now you have to think, is this an issue that the Lightning have to go out and fix? Do we have to go get someone that, even with Point coming back, even with, maybe we're just holding the fort until we can, get Kucherov back, and obviously those would be huge assets to this team, but that's still halfway away of the season. So is there something the Lightning are going to do to specifically address their special teams, But a win is a win, and an overtime win is sweet as well. The full 2 points. Well, they got another 2 points with a 2-1 victory against the Ottawa Senators, and this was the game that Vasilevsky set his record and Stamkos eclipsed his 900th. Overall, pretty easy win. The Bolts had more shots through the first, second, and third period, pretty much, and we had a very strong third period to just shut the door. Again, Hedman showing how important he's been to this offensive effort this year. On Killorn's goal was the big one, to the first goal of the two. Here's Hedman coming in, drawing away. This was very impressive. He draws away a few guys, allowing Colton and Killorn to work their magic. And so that was very important. But he then scored himself to take the lead, and eventually it proved to be the game-winning goal. So again, you're beating a team. Ottawa, I think we definitely want to rack up as many 2-pointers as we can against them, as they're at the kind of the bottom of the division versus us at the top. You just kind of want to take every little thing that they give you. But the other thing, though, is that there was supposed to be a couple of the games, but unfortunately they were postponed. As we record here on Tuesday, it is just a few hours away. We still have not heard whether or not the Bolts will play their game tonight against the Las Vegas Knights. But here's hoping. A couple guys, just as I sat down to hit record, a couple more guys have entered the protocol, which now is over 100 people in the NHL that are in the COVID protocols. The NHL, of course, announcing that they are going to go on a little holiday break until the new year. I'm assuming the Stadium Series is going to be the next game that we see from the NHL, but who knows? We're hoping that we can do the right measures and right things to get enough people on the ice, but I think you might also see some drastic measures to keep the game going. We do not want another shutdown, obviously. The fans don't want it. The players don't want it. The teams don't want it. The ESPN doesn't want it, right? So we have minor leaguers. We have enough. There may have to come some new talks and new agreements to have there be a taxi squad or a backup squad or something like that, that if you get an outbreak, you can basically bring up 6 guys or have 9 guys that are always ready to get in there and put on the lightning bolt. So until now, as far as next week goes, will only have this game. If it goes down, we will only have the Las Vegas game to talk about in terms of on the ice. But we'll come up with something fun too, because every week there's no off season at RBLR, so there will definitely be a show next week. But maybe we do get that game tonight. Maybe we see Suster, the well-dressed man. Of course, if you look at Instagram or look at Twitter, Suster for sure is the one of the most sharply dressed individuals on the Lightning. Well, they brought him up from the Crunch, and maybe we'll see a little bit more kind of back and forth between the minor leagues and a taxi squad, and kind of maybe some of these things that they had implemented for the bubble that they can readily go to for this one. But we will not have any games this week. other than this Las Vegas game, because until the new year, no later than January 7th, they will be putting enhanced measures announced by the NHL and NHLPA. But I mean, we've seen the Predators, we've seen Boston, we've seen the Panthers, we've seen the Avalanche, we've seen the Flames, all literally have to be shut down. We had the Islanders going through their fiasco a little earlier in the season. So we had the NHL announcing that there will not be any Canadians crossing the border, no American teams crossing the border to play Canada. So for now, that hasn't impacted the Lightning schedule in the foreseeable future. But we're hoping the best, that everything is able to work out the best for the fans, the best for the league, and the best, of course, for the safety of the players. So that's really all we got. It's a super short show, but I wanted to at least have something with a little of our schedules being mixed up between all the guys here at RBLR. I was more than happy to grab my stick, grab my skates, and get out here. But I did want to say one thing before we get out of here, guys. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate in this season of festivities. You know, we want to hope that you have just a wonderful time. If you've got friends, if you've got family, if the internet, if this little podcast is part of how you get through these times, we say thank you for you taking that time and making us a part of your holiday season, and of course, you know, every week as you listen to us. And so I did want to say that I'm putting words in mouths here, but I'm sure Jake and Chris both all agree that we love that you listen to us each and every week, and we just want to say thank you and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or what, if there's anything else you celebrate, of course. Come on, I'm getting mushy. I'm crying over here. So with that said, we're going to wrap up this very short and awkward lightning podcast here. But again, if there's one thing you could do, if I can beg you for a Christmas miracle, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we are also there. We are at RBLR Sports. That's the one thing you can do that's absolutely free. Follow us. Like, subscribe, share, all those things that everyone begs for. But in reality, for a small operation like us, it really, really does mean a lot. So we also just launched the t-shirt store not too long ago. If there's a design that you like up there, they're in the colors of the Bolts and the Rowdies and the Bucks and the Rays. If there's a design that you see at shop.rblrsports.com, go ahead and put the promo code BOLTS in there, and we're going to give you 10% off your order. Every order, not just your first order, every order. If you put the promo code BOLTS in, you will get 10% off your entire order. So, well, that's going to wrap us up for sure on this one. From all of us here at the RBLR family, from all of us here, between the Bucks pod, the Lightning pod, the Rays pod, the Rowdies, you name it, we're very, very happy to entertain you and inform you. Until next time, go Bolts.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.